Ooh, I wish I had a toothpick because I would throw it at the camera right now. Hey, big shout out and RIP to Scott Hall. But that's how fired up I am. Hey, yo, Chico, it's Dan and Dago, and the Chargers have a few new bad guys. Bad isn't good, of course. We got some Khalil Mack, what? Some J.C. Jackson, what? Some Sebastian Joseph Day, what? And some Austin Johnson, what? This is a brand new defense, and this is a brand new episode of your favorite show, Compas on the Beat, and Still I Trust. Another shout out. Finally, something good is happening to your boy, and not even the real bad guy, Gilberto, is going to kill my high, but I'll let Gilberto, as I like to call him, break down the Chargers' new defensive players. He is our Chargers insider. Oh, no, get out of here. A bunch of manure. We all know who the real Charger insider is, and that is my Saint brother, Fernando, from all the way over here in South Bend, Indiana. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe to Compas on the Beat on YouTube, listen on Apple and Spotify, and don't forget to follow Compas on the Beat on Instagram. By the way, did I mention that the Chargers just got Khalil Mack? I still can't believe it. But a lot else went down in the NFL and free agency, and the Compas have got you covered. But we all know none of them matter. We only love one team, but that's all right. We're going to talk about them anyway, so everyone gets their few moments. But now it's time to get to the best damn podcast in the universe. From South Bend, Indiana, play music, Nando! Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I am Fernando Ramirez, Notre Dame football reporter for the South Bend Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Chargers reporter for the OC Register, LA Daily News, Gilbert Manzano. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? I think better for you if you just say Notre Dame Insider. I don't know, but I guess you want to plug in the employer. I mean, I could be Chargers Insider. You could be Notre Dame Insider. And it was nice to see your first Notre Dame tweet. I feel like you've been quiet out there while I've been busy with these Chargers over here making moves. And by the way, are we gonna get you a background eventually? What's going on over there?
Dan and Dago's still out here. We're gonna work on the background. We're going to probably work on it probably tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a lot of things because tomorrow's my day off before spring practice happens on Thursday. So Dan and I are going to fix the background. We're going to fix everything, get it ready because it does look a little bit blank. It looks a little bit sad, especially compared to yours right now. So definitely got to be working on that. But yeah, definitely the background will be by next week. The background will be good to go.
Yeah, it's not a good thing if I'm leading the category for best background because my background, as we all know, has been halfway done for over a year. I'll eventually get to the bottom here, whatever, the white space here. But you have nothing behind you. You're kind of adding to the whole South Bend is gloomy and dark. So, put some spirit in there and make it
lively. Vacation days. You should come out here.
I'm not going over there anytime soon, Fernando. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I was just in Indianapolis for a week.
That's true.
Eventually, I'll get over, my little Indiana phase, and then I'll come back. How about that?
Well, Chargers play in Indiana this year, so in Indianapolis. So
there you go. Be a little patient, man. And when Khalil Mack is out there, J.C. Jackson, and those guys will be out there too.
All right. Well, you're jumping the gun, but all right. Let's start off with.
Come on, Fernando. Don't be like those people in the NFL where they make you wait till the new league year on Wednesday afternoon. We all know what happened.
I'm not like that. We like jumping head first into things. So let's just do it. Chargers, right off the bat. I mean, hey, Russell wasn't. It's funny. They did it the day before. The day we recorded Compas, Russell Wilson had been traded to the Broncos, and the next day the Chargers say, "Hey, you want another quarterback in this division? Fine, we'll go get another pass rusher." They get Khalil Mack. Gilbert, you and I mean, obviously for the last year, we've talked to Brandon Staley. We've been around Brandon Staley. The word Khalil or the name Khalil Mack comes out a lot. We know a lot. I feel like we've never, I've never met the guy. I met him a couple of times, but during practice and stuff like that. I've never seen games. I've never actually seen him. I've never even
ever talked to him, but I feel like I know him just based off of what Brandon Staley has said about him. But what do you think about this? What do you think about the move?
Fernando, it kind of feels like it's been a long time ago because so much has happened in the last week since we last recorded the show. But initially, a little surprised, maybe not a little, a lot surprised. It kind of came out of nowhere. But then if you think about it, like the whole connection with Brandon Staley and Khalil Mack in Chicago, and like you mentioned, Fernando, Brandon always mentions Khalil Mack, so we kind of feel like we know him a little bit. I kind of, got to know him a little bit too when I was covering the Raiders in Las Vegas, but not for too much because then he got traded to the Chicago Bears. And it's just crazy how so much has happened ever since. But now Brandon Staley and Khalil Mack are together in Los Angeles, and it's crazy. The first thing I think about was, the whole new approach for the Chargers. They're aggressive. You hear the term "all in" because the Rams were doing it what they did to win the Super Bowl. Stafford, OBJ, Von Miller. Now the Chargers are kind of doing something similar, but I wonder how, because you think about it, the Russell Wilson trade happened before the Khalil Mack one. Like, was it kind of a thing where like they had this in the work with Khalil Mack, and then it was coincidence that Russell Wilson got traded, or was like, okay, enough is enough. There's a pressure coming on to compete in the AFC West, and that's one of the first things I thought about. They have a strength now. The strength is the pass rushing. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, what a duo, and Fernando we've seen since Melvin Ingram left. That pass rush duo wasn't really there. They tried it with Chan Nwosu. It was okay, but not the best, and they lacked a lot of pressure. And even when Melvin Ingram was with the Chargers for the last couple of years, it wasn't enough pressure. Now you're bringing one of the best in Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa to go after Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, and then you have Justin Herbert on the Chargers side. So they're looking pretty nice right now.
You don't have to be 1A anymore if you're Khalil Mack. You could be the 1B, and that's going to be perfectly, I'm sure, with a player of his caliber who's up there in age, but he still has a lot left in the gas tank. Last year, he only played 7 games, but in those 7 games, he had six sacks. So he still can ball. Now you're opposite Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa last year had 10.5 sacks. Probably should have had a little bit more if he wasn't triple teamed and double teamed as much as he was. But now you're gonna have to decide who are you gonna double team. You can't double team both guys.
The thing I'm going to add to that, Fernando, and I don't want to cut you off, but like I'm still kind of wondering who's going to be 1A. I know Joey Bosa is great and has done it, but I don't think I'm ready to write off Khalil Mack. I know he had that one injury last year with the foot, and he missed a lot of time, and people have forgotten about him. But even before that, he was very productive. Yeah, he hasn't got the sacks like people want him to get double digits every year, but the pressures are there, very productive. Just to see Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack kind of challenge each other. It's gonna be really fun to watch covering this team. Like you saw with Von Miller a year ago, people wrote him off, and I think he might have been the best. Well, I can't say that because Aaron Donald was on the team, but in terms of pass rushing, Von Miller was up there. So I don't know, Fernando. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is for sure Joey Bosa because he's younger and been more productive. But I think Khalil Mack still has plenty left in the tank to be one of the elite pass rushers in the NFL.
What today? It is the 15th of March. I will say right now, the Chargers will lead the league in fumbles. The defense will lead the league in fumble recoveries. Gilbert, we saw it last year. Strip sacks, 10.5 strip sacks 10.5 sacks for Joey Bosa. 7 of them were strip sacks. Like, that's not a coincidence. Joey Bosa is starting to learn, and I know it, like people are going to be like, learn. Yeah, Joey Bosa is starting to learn how to properly take the ball away without having to just completely throw your full body at him like a behemoth. Like Joey was knocking the ball out, doing different things. Well, guess what Khalil Mack can do, Gilbert? Khalil Mack likes stripping the ball away too. This duo, I'm telling you, if they can stay healthy, this duo will probably be one of the best, if not the best in the NFL, just because they haven't had that opposite guy on the other side of one another, and now they both get to team up. I think this is going to be bigger than Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. Like, this is, if both of them can stay healthy, I think this is going to be huge for both players. And I mean, obviously Joey got paid last offseason. Khalil's been paid, so there's no worry about this. Is going to be a project literally for 3 years. Like who knows what can happen, but if Khalil and him can, like I said, stay healthy, this duo is going to be ferocious, Gilbert. They literally, I mean, the secondary and Derwin and everybody. Derwin, his only problem last year was he dropped a couple, and he dropped a couple of interceptions. You can't do this year because with that pass rush, there's going to be a lot of hurry. You're going to need to catch those interceptions because they're going to come out and they're going to come out in a fury, Gilbert, because of this pass rush.
Yeah, Fernando, you asked me to start this segment. Was I surprised? I'll go back to it because I feel like when you really think about it, you break it down, it was, surprising because when it comes to position needs, and that's what everybody's trying to do this time of year is fill those needs. You don't worry about best player available until I guess, the draft and whatever when the free agency opens. And this was a trade. You think about fixing the poor run defense. You think about getting more depth in the secondary with cornerbacks. You think about filling the right side of the offensive line, maybe even tight end. I know for you, Fernando, maybe a little higher, but edge rusher wasn't at the top. Maybe it was third or fourth on the list, I thought. So when they went for Khalil Mack, okay, they're going first with the pass rusher, which is a need, and they needed that. It wasn't the biggest one, I thought, but I thought when they got Khalil Mack,
I didn't think they were going to go. I didn't think they were going to swing for. They're like Fernando on Compas trying to get gas. They swing for the fences.
Exactly. So that's where I was headed. Like once they got Khalil Mack, and yes, it wasn't a top need. That told me, oh, they're serious. They're all in. They're swinging for the fences, like you said. And I think once they got the biggest piece of the puzzle, this new plan to address the defense, Khalil Mack, everything else we're going to talk about came into play. That's where getting people coming over. People were excited. And that's the big thing you always got to talk about the Chargers, getting not just the winning, getting people excited in Los Angeles. They're going into year 6 now. And Khalil Mack does that for you. Like, we always talk about, okay, who's some people you talk to and has a lot of star power. Khalil Mack certainly brings that. He brings a lot of attention. So I think that move alone was like, okay, the Chargers are actually doing something. And I was talking to your brother, Dan and Dago. We actually talk, as people who like each other. So that happens every now and then. And we're thinking, yeah, every year there's always this Chargers hype. And Fran, you've been covering this. You were covering. It sounds weird to say you used to cover this team for about 10 years. There's always that hype meter in March and April. Oh, they have a nice quarterback and a bunch of Pro Bowlers. And then you always say, it feels different. They're trying it this way. And I hate to say it again, but it feels like it's really, really different because of the aggressiveness that we keep always asking Tom Telesco, are you going to do this year? Or will you be aggressive in year 8, year 9, year 10? And finally, there's some aggression going on. What? So this feels like real aggressiveness. And I know Tom's going to say, it's not about the rookie deal. It's not about the Rams winning the Super Bowl. It's not about Russell Wilson, blah, blah, blah.
It is.
Whatever. It's all the pressure coming together, and maybe it worked out a little late than earlier. But to get these big moves are really showing that the Chargers are actually serious to really, really compete.
Gilbert, there was a tweet going around this weekend, and it was about you saw J.C. Jackson from the Patriots and the Chargers connected. Everybody kept on talking about it. And I'm like, this seems like a smoke screen in a sense. Like I could never see and I'm being honest, I could never see Tom Telesco going for the top position or top player at a position like that. He did go for Corey Linsley last year. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying like to go for the top guy that everybody wants, and the Chargers end up going for him. Gilbert, just your thoughts on obviously the smoke that what I thought was smoke screens over the weekend, and the fact that the Chargers ended up getting J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, no, everybody who I guess calls himself an NFL insider or NFL breaking news person, connected the dots to the Chargers between J.C. Jackson and the Chargers. As soon as the Patriots, who surprisingly didn't apply the franchise tag on him, everybody said it's J.C. Jackson to the Chargers. So everybody's patting themselves on the back. It's like that bingo card in the middle of the free space. Everybody got that one right. Or the obvious, first overall pick in the draft. Everybody is taking credit for that, which I feel like, okay, maybe you shouldn't get credit because obvious, but I digress. But like you mentioned, Fernando, yes, it's a big get for Tom Telesco, maybe 2 years in a row now. Corey Linsley, J.C. Jackson. But, it felt like it was going to really happen when Derwin James started the morning of free agency. Like he planned that perfectly. An hour before the open window to negotiate with outside free agents, Derwin James does the eye emojis. And by the way, Fernando, I want to say you started the eye emoji.
Thank you.
With the eyeballs, and all of a sudden you leave, it's picking up. So maybe take it as that they miss you. It's an honor. So I don't know how you feel about that, Fernando.
No, I'm good with it. I mean, if it's an honor thing, God bless them. I love them. And that's the thing. I made a lot of friendships with some of these guys, and they're good guys. But obviously, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting move. I mean, the fact that they got J.C. Jackson, it helps add another ball hawk on your team. I think he has 25 interceptions in the last like 3 or 4 seasons. So he obviously a really good player. I'm interested to see kind of how he's going to fit in this Brandon Staley scheme. This also takes the pressure off of Michael Davis also, because Michael Davis, I mean, everybody tried to call him like, it's funny. Last year they said he could be a number 1 corner, but then you asked at the well, I'm just saying you asked.
I know where you're going. Yeah,
you asked at the combine, and it seemed like everybody had really backpedaled off of calling him a number 1 corner. It's funny because they say, oh, he still needs to develop, and I'm like, a 27, 28-year-old corner needs to develop. I'm like, I guess so, but I mean, obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how they use them and what way they're going to use them this year. Honestly, I'm going to give Rose. I'm not just going to be an ass. He was actually not bad when he had to cover Darren Waller, Travis Kelce. I know he got beat a couple of times, but he wasn't completely bad at covering those guys. Like, it's just another big body. He can run with the tight ends. He's lengthy enough to be able to bat the ball down. So, I mean, in that aspect, he does help the game, but I'm interested to see if Asante now goes inside or kind of how they're going to do it with this rotation.
Yeah, I wonder how much that KC game on Thursday Night Football when Derwin went out and they got shredded apart by Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. How much of that came into play in Brandon Staley's mind? Like, damn, we really lack the secondary help. I'm sure
And Asante
Brandon
didn't play.
Yeah, and that too. He was probably thinking like, man, that could have been the game. You win that, you go to the playoffs. So, yeah, like you mentioned, Fernando. I asked Brandon about Michael Davis being a number 1. He definitely changed his tune. I don't know if I should follow up on the press conference with J.C. Jackson. You think J.C. Jackson's number 1? Because Brandon was like, these guys are pretty limited, but when you pay a guy $80 million or 82, whatever, you would think he's for sure a number 1 corner, a lockdown guy. And Fernando, going off the contract, I'm a little surprised it didn't take more to bring him to LA.
I thought so too.
Like that's kind of an affordable deal. It was something that I think Byron Jones got with Miami like 2 or 3 years ago. So he didn't reset the market. Maybe it went for the Chargers that way, or maybe he wanted to take a pay cut to bring in more guys because, like we mentioned, the run defense needs help in other areas as well. But when you have Khalil Mack and you're close friends with Derwin James, I'm sure that helped. The recruiter Derwin James there. I can't wait to ask him about that because going back to the eye emojis, you knew it was going down the second Derwin tweeted again, double eye emojis, and then J.C. Jackson, which I broke that story, Fernando. J.C. Jackson got the eyeballs on the Instagram. That's what I do, man. I'm versatile, multiple social media accounts, checking it out, man. You knew it was going down after that.
I mean, when you have people grabbing the stuff that you do and using it as their own, I mean, that's all. That honestly, that's when you've really done good work. So that's all I can say about that. But very interesting to see what people do.
Yeah, giving me the credit. I feel
like we blew up quick though.
Yeah, dude. Like it only lasted like maybe 10 minutes of hype because then the reporters had the breaking news on J.C. Jackson to the Chargers. But for those 10 minutes, man, I got like 300 retweets, and I felt like a very 2022 reporter. Proud of myself in that moment. But going off fit for J.C. Jackson, this was perfect for the Chargers. Another big move for them because everything I read on this guy, he's not just a ball hawk. He could definitely cover man coverage. He's big, 6'1", and that's what Brandon Staley wants to play. Is playing a lot of man. I think he was saying, like I told you at the combine, like he just. Like I can't really I remember I was telling you I can't really find something good besides the cornerback topic and that Staley combine, but I'm like, he did pretty much say he hates playing zone defense, but and then it kind of tells you, okay, with J.C. Jackson emerge as a man coverage guy with Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick runs a pretty also a complex defense. So I think Brandon saw that, a young guy too, who got better over time with Bill Belichick. And the crazy part, he was undrafted, man, Fernando. Yeah. So that's a nice story for him. He was playing at Riverside City College for not too long ago, so he's kind of having a little homecoming here in Southern California. But in terms of fit, it's perfect. That way you kind of maybe unlock Derwin James a little more because you remember he was kind of getting stuck playing as a slot cornerback because he couldn't find consistency there. So now you can put Derwin as that kind of do-it-all guy. You shut down people with J.C. Jackson. You got Asante Samuel Jr. Playing outside, inside, and then you kind of, you have Michael Davis there to kind of ease his play a little more because he wasn't ready for that big workload last year. But scheme fit Fernando, and maybe I'm going on a tangent, but a year ago they tried it with just Derwin James, Jerry Bosa, and a very young supporting cast. I thought that was enough because Brandon Staley did great work with the Rams and the Bears. We were all wrong. Maybe Brandon was surprised. Definitely Tom Telesco was surprised. That did not work out. And I don't want to make excuses for Brandon Staley, but he needed the players. He has them now. You doubled up and start players. You got a big four there, and we'll see what to do with the rest of the offseason. But so far, no more excuses. The players are there, and I'm kind of excited to see what Brandon does to unlock them.
I remember I got hated on last offseason because I said, so you're going to let Brandon Staley go into the season with the same defense that got Gus Bradley fired? And I remember I got called a hater for that. And I'm like, it's the same damn defense except for
Take your lap, Fernando. Take your lap.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm going to take it a little bit. But all right, Gilbert, we talked about the animal-style fries. We've talked about the milkshake. The milkshake is J.C. Jackson. Animal-style fries, Khalil Mack.
Okay,
Tell me about the beef. How many patties do you want on your burger?
Well, 2 right now, right?
Yep, but they each count for one of them counts for 2, so that's a 4x4.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of beef. It's a lot of beef that the Chargers got. Talk a little bit about some of the additions that they got: Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day.
Correct. 2 run stoppers, defensive tackles. They're young. And that's the thing you want to do in free agency. Like people always kind of go for the big names, older veterans, but sometimes you got to take a gamble on the young guys or get them better, who are not really a big name, but then you could develop them and groom them. And that's what Brandon's doing with these 2 guys, especially with Austin Johnson, because he's not familiar with him. He played with the Giants. I think it was 2nd round pick of the Titans. So people liked him before at one point. And with Sebastian, he knows him from the Rams his days with the Rams. And Sebastian had a nice year in 2020 where Brandon Staley was the defensive coordinator as a run stopper. I don't know if they're ready yet to, become better than they were a year ago, because is that duo better than Linval Joseph and Justin Jones? We don't know. But they still have money. They still have the draft. Jordan Davis, anybody? That'd be kind of interesting to do. But for the most part, they got better and improved on the run defense. And Fernando, you can sign all the playmakers you want, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, but if you're not stopping the run, this defense doesn't work.
No, 100%. I mean, and that's the thing. You need to be able to trust on your defense. And up front, the Chargers got beat, and they got beat bad. So now they have some players that are going to help them. They have some players that is gonna beef up that offensive line and that defensive line, and they're gonna need it. I mean, and I honestly don't think the Chargers are done yet. I really do think that the Chargers still need some more on that defensive line. I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's going out and getting bringing back Justin Jones or going out and getting another player, but there's something telling me that they're going to go out and get another player just because they need more beef up front. They need more defensive players. You guys, I mean, I've beaten this damn drum since he got drafted. To me, Jerry Tillery is not good. He doesn't have anything that I could say, oh, wow, this. Even though some other people have been like, oh, well, he look at what he did to Zach Martin on one play. Dude, come on, one play, like, get out of here. No, like it's just not there. Like, I don't know what it is with Jerry Tillery, but I mean, using the B word should be okay. Well, he's not really a bust because he's a 28th pick, but he's not a starter. Maybe, and Gilbert,
Fernando,
I was the one.
Let me help you out. Maybe he could develop into a nice pass rusher, but he's not a run stopper.
No, exactly. He gets driven back into the safeties. But this is what I've been beating the damn drum on. And I asked Brandon last year, that Pittsburgh game showed me a lot, Gilbert. It showed me that if you had a healthy rotation of defensive linemen, you're going to be able to. And Brandon knows more than I do. I understand that. But that game, they didn't have. I don't think they had Linval. They had Braden Fayoko, who's I think is going to be a good piece this year for them. I think Braden could help out a lot. They had a lot of pieces, guys that they brought up from the practice squad. Why? Because they had a COVID outbreak on the defensive line, and they were able to stop Najee from going off on them, which not a lot of teams did. But I think Jerry Tillery is good as a secondary play, not in the secondary, but as like a backup. I think he'll be fine there and come in. He can rotate. You don't have to give him 90% of the snap. He's not an 80% snaps kind of guy. You give him a little bit less and let him develop and do all of his stuff. But I mean, I'm just saying, I really do think the Chargers need to stop with this whole shantic of, Jerry Tillery can develop. No, he's done. That's it. Like, and I'm not saying that he's done developing or whatever, but he's just not a starter right now, and it's okay. It's okay if he's not a starter. I know he's a first-round draft pick, but just let him rotate, get a couple of snaps in there. Who knows? Maybe the less snaps, the more production you're going to get out of him.
It's never a good time when coaches are trying to figure out where do you fit, where do you play, let's change the role, let's change the position, and they always kind of sugarcoat it. Well, he's so talented, he could play pass rusher and play on the edge, and yeah, whatever. He just didn't work out inside defensive tackle. I think Fernando, you're right there. It didn't work out there, so I think he might be a backup edge rusher because they're still pretty thin. You got it, but Chris Rump, and that's about it behind Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. So maybe you give kind of Tillery a shot there because I don't think anybody's counting him to be an inside guy right now, especially with the run defense being a major problem last year. And I'm sure Brandon was frustrated that he couldn't unlock his defense because he couldn't stop the run. So you got Joseph Day, you got Austin Johnson, and that's it. But I'm kind of jumping ahead, Fernando. But two of the players that really excite me the most that I want to cover as a reporter, if the Chargers go get Jordan Davis, that would definitely solve their problem because that guy's a monster, very athletic.
I don't think he's going to be there.
And that's the thing. He did so well at the combine. Like I was actually starting the combine writing stories about like, is it worth it to get a nose tackle at number 17? I don't know, but there's enough value there.
Him with this defensive line, oh crap!
That's what I'm saying. So like,
that's a 10 by 10 at in and out, by the way.
Exactly. So it doesn't feel like they're done. It feels like they're a little improved, but does it feel much better than Justin Jones and Linval? Not that much, but you go in and get that guy, it definitely does help out. And the other one, I'm kind of just jumping the gun, is the punk god, Matt Araiza. That'd be kind of
Matt Araiza. We got to meet him.
Yeah, exactly. So those are two needs I feel like they might address in the draft. Like we keep forgetting, like it's free agency. They got money to spend. Not that much money anymore, but they cut Balaga, created some room. And everybody's like, okay, well, you got to go get everybody. Well, it takes time. We saw last year with Rashawn Slater, they filled the need there at left tackle. So we'll see what they do with the inside. But going back to the defense and not losing track, there is still holes in the defense, and it feels like okay, Jerry Tillery lost his job. That kind of feels established. But I don't know what's gonna happen with Kenneth Murray. He seems like he's gonna be the starter right now because there's no Kaiser. And the crazy part, there's 5 free agents who started for the Chargers on defense, and they might not come back. Yeah. And that was Kaiser White, Justin Jones, Linval Joseph, Chandler Wusu, Chris Harris Jr. Like maybe Justin Jones come back. I don't know, but right now I think I wrote it's a new team. Well, they appear to be new, but much improved. That's the way I wrote it. They have the playmakers now, but they still have some issues.
Let me ask you real quick. Give me one position that you think they're going to address in free agency next, and give me one of the big free agents that are still out there, one that you'd love to see on this team.
I think you saw my tweet, Fernando. I was just thinking about that. It's not they don't have too much money, so they can't swing big, and they still have multiple needs. And I'm like, hasn't this team been bad on special teams for the last 10 years? Didn't you just fire your special teams coordinator? Why are they ignoring special teams? I know that they re-signed Dustin Hopkins. That's nice and all, but they need to really address that. And hey, who's out there who knows Brandon Staley and new coach Ryan Ficken? Cordell Patterson, the do-it-all, wide receiver, running back, gunner, kick returner, whatever you want to call him, he will fill so many needs, and he might not cost that much. He did play pretty well with the Falcons. They really unlocked him there with Arthur Smith. But it just makes a lot of sense. You address special teams. He probably won't cost too much. Maybe a 2-year deal. You spread out the money. And then you add speed a little bit too. For now, you're always talking about speed. So Cordell Patterson makes a lot of sense to me. So I think he might be the next one. I'm gonna be bold there and say he might be coming soon. But they got to find a right tackle, a right guard, maybe a linebacker, another defensive tackle. But I think right now they got to focus on something on special teams.
I'm a wrestling guy, right?
What?
I love storylines, and I love heel turns, and I love all this stuff. There's a guy who just got hit in the back of the head with a chair, and he's gotten disrespected. That team went and signed another safety instead of just re-signing him when he's been a leader of that team. Man, I would love to see Tyrann Mathieu take a 1-year deal with the Chargers. $8 to $10 million. Because the Chargers can restructure deals and they can do all this fun stuff to really free up some cap. But if you really want to go all in, and you bring in Tyron, remember that picture that that Derwin posted of him and J.C. Jackson, it's cut off. Tyrann Mathieu is also a part of that picture. What an
and two other
ultimate
guys,
heel
but
move.
we'll forget
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
What an ultimate heel move wouldn't it be if like he came in? Because remember, he's tweeted out a couple of times he'd love to play with Derwin. He'd love to play with this defense. Remember that after that Thursday night game, he could have tweeted out anything, but he put, "Holy crap, the Chargers are coming. They're building something nice." I would love to see Tyrann Mathieu come to the Chargers and really be like, you know what, we're going to turn this up. Who knows Patrick Mahomes better than him? Can you imagine Derwin, him, like in the secondary? Then you got J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel Jr., Khalil Mack, Joe. You literally have two everywhere, two stars at almost every position. I'd love to see Tyrann Mathieu on this team, man. That would be so much fun to watch. And just like that first game against Kansas City would be electric, just because Tyrann Mathieu, Khalil Mack, Derwin. And I know I'm shooting for the stars and everything, but I just think it'd be so much fun from a storyline. Like I'd love to see your story on Tyrann Mathieu going back to Kansas City if that's where they started off, or if they come to SoFi. But man, if Tyrann Mathieu's a Charger, that would be a killer freaking storyline. Like that'd be so much fun to watch.
If it happens for now, you gotta start questioning why the Chargers making moves after you leave. That'd be surprising.
I questioned that all weekend. I was like, what the hell? Like what? Why now? But speaking of people who come back, Gilbert, let's move along. The GOAT has returned. Hear ye, tell them all. Tom Brady decides to. You're a soccer fan, right, Gilbert?
Somewhat, as you guys know.
Well, you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is.
Of course.
Tom Brady decides to go watch Cristiano Ronaldo play at Manchester United. And he sits there and he sees Cristiano Ronaldo score a hat trick in front of the world. And it was a really good game against Tottenham. They win the game 3-2 because of Cristiano Ronaldo's hat trick. Then after the game, they start chatting it up. And Tom Brady, the sly SOB that he is, releases a clip where Cristiano asks him, "Are you done or not?" And he's like, "I don't know yet." And I'm like, I was like, there it is. He ain't done. But man, so do you think half of the United States is thanking Cristiano or getting pissed at Cristiano because Tom Brady's back? Because I've heard mixed emotions. Good friend of the show, Nick Hamilton's like, he should have stayed retired. Nobody wants to see him. I do. After what he did after almost beating the Rams last year, I do. I want to watch him. I want to see what else he's got. But Gilbert, it's crazy that Tom Brady's back. I mean, I honestly thought that was it, and boom, here he comes back.
I'm just like in the middle of it, on the fence of like, do I want to see him still? It's been 23 years, 22, and maybe part of it is I'm jealous that he's like 43 years old and he's more
part of our lives, to be honest.
Yeah, and then also I'm kind of mad that I already did like a goodbye Tom tweet. I'm like, oh,
that's why I didn't do it.
You were such a legend. I don't want to do that again.
That's why I didn't do it.
And then I did it the first time because whatever, he got mad that ESPN jumped the gun. I'm like, I'm not doing it again. So it's kind of like a second comeback tour. I don't know, whatever. I'm over it with Tom Brady, but I guess when you're playing that well, when you're 42 and you still have like, I think at that point, I think he wants Father Time to get him. He wants to know how long he could do it until Father Time finally knocks on his door and says, "Hey, buddy, that's enough." Because usually that's the way it happens. Rarely do people go out on top, maybe like a Calvin Johnson or who knows, Barry Sanders. But most of the time, Father Time tells you, "Hey, you're done. Get out of here." And that hasn't happened with Tom Brady. I don't know what he's doing with his TV.
He's going to be 45 when the season
It's insane, and I'm sure a lot of people are mad about it, and people are tired of seeing this guy win. He didn't win last year, and it kind of just felt right for people. But knowing that guy, he wants to win one more and then retire. But it's just amazing what he does. I won't take any credit from him. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to make the NFL more entertaining, and the Buccaneers are still a contender.
And especially because the NFC is kind of lame in a sense. Like, you see everything going on in the AFC, and you're kind of like, what's going on in the NFC. Let me ask you though, are you a conspiracy theorist?
Not really.
Okay. Part of me thinks that like Tom was trying to negotiate a trade away from Tampa to San Francisco, and that's why he ended up retiring to see maybe if they would do it and finally let him go. And because think about it, Gronk still hasn't signed anything. Like I thought by now Gronk would have an extension and everything. He's still a free agent, which if I'm the Chargers, hell, I just in a sense jokingly call and be like, hey Gronk, I mean, we got this guy Justin Herbert. I mean, you guys would have a lot of fun. You, Joey, Khalil Mack, you guys would have so much fun. Like all the like Derwin and everything. But honestly, like I think that there was something there. And maybe Tom didn't get his way, and because Tampa's not going to be as good as they were last year. They were able, I don't know how in the hell they were able to keep everybody last year. This year, you're not going to be able to keep everybody. And then Chris Godwin's coming off that torn ACL. Their defense is going to get a little bit worse because they let go of some guys. So I'm interested to see kind of how Tampa Bay is going to be next year. But part of me kind of thinks that Tom Brady tried to maybe get out of Tampa, and Tampa just wouldn't budge. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, well, hey, let's keep you. But I don't know.
Or maybe I could kind of see some truth to it. I think the Buccaneers were so grateful that Tom Brady came, won them a Super Bowl, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna retire now, but I think might look somewhere else. Can you just like, execute a trade for me because of what I did for you?" And Bruce Arians like, "All right, fine, whatever. Maybe try looking with the 49ers, but after you spend so much draft capital to go get Trey Lance, you're kind of going backwards, and then you start falling into the whole." Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love thing. They probably like, you know what, forget that, we can't. And then Brady's like, okay, well, F you guys. Let's go back with the Buccaneers. And you know who might be happy to get Tom Brady back? And not just because, you know, obviously he's a great player, but out of spite. Remember how everybody was saying that Bruce Arians was like a bad coach and he pissed off Tom Brady and nobody wants to play with him. And he wouldn't let them work together with Byron Leftwich. And I'm sure Bruce is like, what happened to all those reports and
exactly,
you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just interested to see kind of if he really plays with a lot of energy. Like I hope he gets San Francisco in the playoffs. That'd be so much fun because his facial expression will tell you everything you need to know about what happened. Because I don't know if you remember, but you're sticking with that mother effer. You remember that clip? That was about Ryan Fitzpatrick down with the Miami Dolphins. According to reports,
is that what we figured out? Yeah,
I thought it was Tannehill with the Titans. But no, supposedly it's the Miami Dolphins. That the Miami Dolphins wanted him. He kind of wanted to go there, and that they're like, oh, we're gonna stick with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's like, y'all are gonna stick with that guy. Like, okay, then I'm out. But very good shakeup over the weekend, and it's funny because people were like, oh, Tom couldn't even let other people have their moment. Like he just had to come out and during free agency or right before free agency and make this whole spectacle. But hey, it's the NFL. It's Tom Brady's league. He's back at it. Let's see for a 23rd season. Let's see what he's going to be able to do this year. But let's talk a little bit about that free agency shakeup, Gilbert. And anybody jump out at you, surprise you, anything that you're like, oh, wow, look at this.
Yeah, I feel like you always put me on the spot, but and I might start thinking about it a little more. But the first team that comes to mind, there's always that one team that just loves to spend. They have all the salary cap in the world.
Say their name.
Use it somehow. The Jacksonville Jaguars. They spend so much money. Yeah, there you go. You're ready, man. You knew what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Brandon Scherf, not a bad guard, but older. You know, injuries. Christian Kirk, that one was insane. I don't think he's worth that money,
bro. He's making like only a little bit less than Mike Williams.
And that's the thing. Like if Mike Williams, he's probably thinking, man, I should have tested the open market. Who knows? Like he probably could have made over $90 million maybe. That's almost a Keenan Allen contract. Remember, 4 years, $80 million. That's insane. And that run stopper there, Foley from the Jets, he could have been nice with the Chargers there. Zay Jones is another one. Like, what are they doing there with the wide receivers, man? Evan Ingram, maybe some upside, 1 year, $9 million, former first round pick, but it kind of felt like, hey, we're a terrible franchise. We have this rookie quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. He needs all the help in the world. Let's go spend some money on some decent starters.
Can I admit something to you and you won't like, well, you're going to laugh at me regardless.
Go ahead.
Dude, I swear to God, I was like, what in the F is Urban Meyer doing? I thought it was still Urban Meyer
forgot?
as the head coach. I'm like, what the hell is Urban Meyer doing? And then I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, wait, it's not Urban Meyer. It's Doug Peterson. So I'm like, oh wow, okay, my bad. But
And technically, our boy Tony Khan spending that money.
yeah, Tony Khan too. Yeah, no, definitely very interesting to see kind of what they've done. What Jacksonville does. I don't like. I know that they spent money to protect Trevor Lawrence, which they need to, but now I'm interested to see kind of how they're going to put all this together. And I don't know. I'm very interested to see kind of what they're going to do with this because it's a lot of random players. Like Jacksonville doesn't have a number one receiver, so that's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see kind of how they're going to put, like I said, all this stuff together. I don't know how they're going to do it, but man, they're crazy the way they've already been spending. They spend a lot of money, and I'm sure they're probably not done. It says down Ari Miroff says that they're looking for secondary help too. So yeah, man, I mean, they need a lot of stuff, but wow, they really came out and they really started spending.
Yeah, you got to do something to compete and get attention out there. So,
Especially in the man, because the AFC is so crazy.
Yeah, it's with other young quarterbacks. Like the one that was kind of surprising was the Bengals didn't really go after like top offensive linemen. Like they went for like the middle tier. I'm like, have you not seen what Joe Burrow's been getting hit like crazy? That was surprising. Obviously, the Broncos are making some noise there with Russell Wilson and getting Brandon Gregory after that U-turn.
I thought they were going to go with Teron Armstead.
Who the Bengals?
Cincy, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, you know what? Forget it. We're gonna go middle tier guys. We'll see. But yeah, that's where it's at. Baltimore's always kind of doing their thing. They have Lamar Jackson. The Chiefs kind of quiet, no, but they always kind of do their thing there. So these young quarterbacks.
Well, they got Justin Reed.
That's the one. They replaced Tyrann Mathieu. So they've done something. But yeah, in terms of all the teams, with the young quarterbacks, they're kind of making something to help out their team.
Now, does this sound like a 4-year, $70 million pass rusher to you? 16 and a half career sacks in 50 games played.
Are we playing guess that player?
Well, you just named him.
Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Who was it?
Randy Gregory.
Oh, Randy Gregory. Yeah.
Look at his stats don't jump. Like I heard that they wanted Von Miller, and I'm like, okay, Von would be a good pickup because you know exactly what he's going to do. But now I see like Randy Gregory's numbers, and I'm like,
he's always hurt. He always has problems. Inconsistent.
He can't get off the weed.
Which is not a problem nowadays anymore. But he's always had the potential, like the raw talent is there. Like, how old is he now? He's still got to be in his 20s, right?
Yeah, he is.
So that's probably what's intriguing, especially. But when you're the Broncos and maybe Von Miller was more than that, I really don't know. And he's older. They probably just say, you know what, let's try it.
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. I don't get it. Like, I don't get what's going on. Like, I was just a little bit surprised by that. You know who's doing? Who's putting in work? Our boy Mike McDaniel. He started off making all kinds of different moves, and I was like, oh, there he is. Like, there's our guy.
Gadget players for his offense.
Yeah. No, he did get a couple of players. You know what he got? They got a lot of Rosenhaus guys too. I saw that. Here's Ari again with another tweet. They got a lot of Rosenhaus guys too.
Yeah, retaining Ogba was the big one. He's really talented, underrated pass rusher. Connor Williams, not a bad for the alignment for Tua there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chase Edmonds is an intriguing one, but they still have a lot of problems with the offensive line.
No, they do. And I mean, it's not gonna be a one-day thing. It's gonna take a little bit, but man, it's just it's gonna be interesting kind of what they decide to do. You know what I mean with that with their offensive line, because man, Tua took some hits last year, and then this year, I mean, if you're getting all these weapons to spread the field, like you're gonna need a better offensive line.
They got Teddy Bridgewater over there. I wonder if he's gonna start a game or two.
That was interesting. When I saw that Teddy Bridgewater went there, I was like, I'm like, interesting to see how long he thinks he's gonna how long he thinks he's gonna last. Like I don't know.
Like it's always a telling sign. Like you think every team will want a really good backup quarterback in case a disaster happens and you want to still be a playoff team. But there's just not many out there quarterbacks for quality. But the ones who are decent enough to be a starter are always behind the unproven young quarterback. Have you noticed that? It's a good kind of
Yeah,
measuring. Like, okay, this guy's not ready to play it. He needs competition. That's what it feels like in Miami with Tua and Teddy. Obviously, it's Tua's job, but he's gonna be looking back and like, okay, this guy's gonna be pushing me, and we'll see what happens in year 3. But he has Mike McDaniel, Frank Smith out there, so we'll see what happens.
no, and the crazy part is that I feel like Tua is always gonna be like that. Unfortunately, unless he steps up and finally plays the way he is. But until you can do that, you're always gonna have you're always gonna look behind and be like, oh, I wonder who else is behind me. But
But you know that scheme is built off a running game, so it might be okay for him.
yeah. Any other free agency stuff you want to touch on? What do you think anybody's gonna hit? Anything else is gonna happen? You got any predictions for me?
I don't know. I can't think of who's still out there that's big. Teron Armstead, right? He's still out there.
Yeah.
That is surprising. So
I wonder, you know what it is though, right? It's all this Deshaun Watson stuff. Like now it's the Falcons, the Panthers, and I think the Saints. All three of them now have meetings with him. I think he met with the Browns already. So the craziest one to me is that Indy tried to set up a meeting and they said no to Indy. I'm like, well, what the hell did you think they were going to be like? Oh yeah,
what?
take our
You gotta
freaking
try at
quarterback.
least.
I know, but
What was I gonna say? Somebody brought up an idea of like doing like a 3-way trade, like send them this way and then get them that way for Indy.
that'd be
But
funny.
the other one that I was thinking too is like, I get that he's from Atlanta and maybe he could go back home to the Falcons, but like, what do the Falcons have to offer besides Kyle Pitts? Like, there's
That's
nobody on
exactly
that
so
team.
Daniel and I were talking about. I was talking to him and I'm like, what do they have on their offense? Like, you don't even have Calvin Ridley anymore. Like,
And they
you
just
only
traded
have
Russell
Kyle
Gage, who was
Pitts.
kind of underrated wide receiver. I mean, they didn't trade that. He went to
There's nothing.
Buccaneers.
There's no team that I look around and I think, oh, he could. Oh, there's only one, Seattle. I think he could go to Seattle, and I think they could be a
Said no
playoff
to them,
team.
right?
Yeah, I think he did.
Wonder why, huh?
Maybe he doesn't want to play for Pete Carroll.
Who was a old school run smash mouth guy.
Exactly. So I think that might be it. But speaking
It
of,
might be, well, real quick, it might be New Orleans, I think, because of Michael Thomas there. Alvin Kamara.
New Orleans, that'd be a good one. Michael Thomas tweeted out something today. Don't listen to all the smoke and mirrors. I'm like, I wonder what, or it's a smoke screen or something. I'm like, maybe they're talking about like him talking about Atlanta and all these places. If he goes to New Orleans, I think that'd be a good pickup for them. They're cap strung so bad. I don't know how they're gonna be able to do it.
Forgot about that.
Speaking of somebody who needs a timeout, Gilbert, I honestly, you and I cover professional. Well, I don't cover professional athletes anymore, but I'm still in the fray. Like I still know and everything.
We're talking about that. What's it called? The NIL.
Well, I mean,
you guys are making money now.
Well, they can, but I get disappointed when I hear when people are in opportunities where you're like, oh wow, like look, he's making all this money, he's doing this, he's doing that, but people try and I don't know, not wasted, but man, this Fernando Tatis stuff, like, and I told you, and I texted you, I'm like, we need to talk about this. Like, this is so disappointing. Like, you just got paid that. I think it was like a $300 million contract. You're one of the faces of baseball. Everybody knows you. People love you. I don't think he gets all that much hate. I don't know. You're a Dodger guy, so I don't know. I don't think he gets that much hate like a Machado or other guys. I feel like Tatis is basically like liked around Major League Baseball. Am I wrong in assuming that?
No, I liked Fernando Tatis. Like I like watching him play. He's really exciting. That's what you need in baseball, man. Like, I don't really care for a lot of baseball to be honest, because I don't care till October. Maybe I'll watch it and when it's when it's opening day in April, and then I stop caring because I gotta go cover football or whatever. But when people, because I am I don't like this company, but I have T-Mobile as my cell phone provider, and they always give me the free MLB extra innings package. So I try to take advantage, and the games I'm always watching are the Padres because of Tatis. So those are really exciting games because he's really electric player, and they need more of that. Like Shohei, I can't. There you go. You call me a
There you
Dodger
go.
guy, but I'm having a crush on Shohei because he does everything. That's exciting to me. Different. But now you don't have Tatis, and I'm sure Fernando, you being a San Diego guy, it's frustrating because this guy's always hurt. I think he got hurt he had a nice rookie year. The second year he got hurt, missed a lot of games. And then when he's talking to reporters and they're asking about the motorcycle accident, and he's like, which one? You're like, what is going on with this guy? He can't even keep track of the motorcycle problems he has. So, and that's the thing that kind of like maybe frustrates people the most because it wasn't a baseball injury. It was a motorcycle thing. So, good player, but a frustrating player.
It's frustrating, Gilbert, because the kid has so much money now that he could change the lives of the people around him. But you and I both know in these contracts, what does it say, Gilbert? You can't be on motorcycles. For this kid to say which one, like that just means he's probably without. I mean, I shouldn't assume that he's without a helmet and all this stuff, but it just means that he's gotten into multiple accidents. He's done multiple things like that. And it's like, dude, in your contract, it literally lays out no motorcycles. I think it's no snowboarding or skiing either. And I can't remember. There's no paragliding or not like stuff like that. You're not allowed to. But when a player literally says which one, like that to me it boiled my head because, dude, you have so much power in the sense of like you could change so many people's lives. And I'm not talking about with money. I'm talking about like going to elementary schools, talking to kids, this and that and that. All you have to do is just stay off of a motorcycle. Like, and that's the thing. He does a lot of dangerous shit. Like, and I'm serious. Like, last year, was it last year? Yeah. Before he signed his contract, I remember he was in caves and he was like diving into caves and doing all this, like diving deep, Gilbert, like all these, like you were in Puerto Vallarta. You saw some of the, like, would you dive into some of those caves?
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. So he was diving into those caves and doing all that stuff. So I just think Tatis needs to be careful. He's been injured now every single year that he's been with the Padres. And I'm sure there's a little bit of questioning, a little frustration because now he's also, they were asking him if he's going to get surgery. He says he doesn't know. Last year they had told him, why don't you get shoulder surgery to fix that shoulder? He doesn't want to do it. So now it's like, okay, now it's a wrist and now it's a shoulder. And, but like, this is the craziest part about the whole thing, Gilbert, is that this tweet from, I think it was Heyman. Oh, crap. Heyman had this tweet, and I'm like, dude, you literally could have just had this all taken away. Oh, no. John Morosi. He puts, the Padres are not expected to pursue voiding Fernando Tatis' contract, even though an injury sustained while operating a motorcycle could provide the basis for doing so. One major reason the team values its long-term relationship with the superstar player. Like, it doesn't matter if you did it in a lockout, dude. Like, you're out here putting your life on the line and you're like potentially about to throw this away. Like, come on, dude. You gotta be smarter than this.
I think he took advantage knowing that
it was a lockout.
No, not just that. The Padres know that if they go after the money, then their relationship is hurting. And he's like, oh, they won't do that. They love me. Why would they go after my money? They want no problems. So he risked it and it didn't work out.
It's honestly, I hope he matures and grows up. I mean, honestly, it's funny because my mom's always talked about starting her own babysitting agency for athletes. She's like, I'll tell them, nope, you can't go out. Nope, what are you going to do on a motorcycle? Nope, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I start laughing. But man, he needs to grow up. He needs a better circle around him. I think in a sense, like, dude, don't go on a motorcycle. Like, come on, get out of here. Like, just take the car or do this or do that. But hey, I mean, and now because of the lockout, I think the season now is only going to be about 6 months. Or no, the playoffs start in 6 months. That's what it was. So now literally he's out for three months. So he's out for half of the season. What if the Padres are out of it and they're like, oh, we'll just rest him and bring him back next year? You literally just wasted a year. So, but hey, that's how it goes. Anything you want to say on that?
Nope. But bring on baseball. I guess I gotta start watching some baseball.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same. I mean, after spring practices and everything, I guess I got to start watching baseball as well, a little bit of it. But all right, Gilbert, no guest this week. Let's go back to Dan and Dago and see what he has to say.
I guess
I like that. Gilberto mentioned that we had a nice civilized conversation earlier about the Chargers. He knows he loves me. Why is he playing? Why? I just don't get it. But speaking of love, have you seen Love is Blind season 2? Hopefully you have, because Gilberto and Fernando have some hard-hitting analysis about it. This is a versatile show. So a little bit of football. What? Pro wrestling? What? Some trash TV? What? Some movies? What? A little music, maybe? What? A little bit of football? No, that one's canceled. Gilberto has forbade me, so I won't say anything about it. But man, still can't believe all those nasty things Shake, the vet, said. But anyway, let's get to Unamos.
Good stuff as always, Gilbert, from your buddy, your friend. You guys have the biggest bromance I've ever seen, Dan and Dago. I love that bromance. I think you guys are meant for each other. So it's good to see. It's good to see the love between both of you guys.
I guess I don't know what you see, Fernando. There's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of disagreement, but sure, you can call it love. I know sometimes people are raised differently. That's what you call it.
Speaking of love, Gilbert and I, you guys know we like watching shows. We like watching movies. Something that obviously we both coincide is, God, we like trash TV. Holy crap. I don't know why I like it. Like, especially like
I
stupid.
hate to admit it, but I get.
You said what?
No, I was gonna say I get sucked in, man. I somebody puts it on, and like, oh, okay, I'm into this now.
So the pandemic started 2 years ago, and I remember it was late. It was like 9-10 o'clock, and it was like April. And one of my friends texted me, "You need to watch Love Is Blind." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "But don't watch it without Daniel. Like, you need to have Daniel watch it." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "His commentary is gonna be hilarious." And so I'm like, "All right, cool, for sure." So Daniel obviously doesn't want to watch it because he sees it's a dating show. But my sister and I are obviously like, we need to get him to watch it. So we start watching it, and obviously it's just complete garbage. But we just start laughing because of the commentary that he has on the show and just the comments that he says and everything. But I thought it was a unique show. Like Nick Lachey and his wife came. Well, I don't think they came up with that. I think they're just the faces of it. But I thought it was a unique show. It was really interesting the way like people, I mean, I guess start dating through the pods and they fall in love and they don't see each other until like they propose to each other and everything. But kind of how did
I was gonna say, let me cut you off, Fernando, because people love Love Is Blind. You're acting like nobody watches the show. We know what's going on. Let's get to the juicy part. Season 2, Fernando.
How did you get started on it? How did you get hooked? Just you started watching it one day or what?
My lovely partner Caroline got me to watch it, and
okay, see, yeah,
exactly.
Probably
say that I'm pointing the finger at her, but it was her. Okay, it wasn't me. I wanted to watch.
All right. Well, what did you think about season 2?
Okay, then I'll say this: season 1, I got roped into it. Season 2, it was all me. I got hooked in season 1, so I wanted to watch season 2. I think it was better. I think it was really entertaining. I don't know, man, because I wasn't as attached with the first characters, with the first cast, but I like the drama. Good character, a villain. Shout out to Shake.
I actually like Shake a lot.
And yeah, everybody needs a villain, right? Like we mentioned, R.I.P. Scott Hall. We all need a bad guy.
We all need a bad guy.
So I think Shake was great in the reunion too. I was like, we're all angry at what the things he's saying.
But did you hear what he said? He's like, if you were really mad at the stuff that I was saying, you guys would have cut me out of the show. That is very true. They would have cut him out of the show if they were really that mad. He drew ratings.
Oh, yeah.
He drew, like, I remember Dan and I, and I mean, Daniel and I are not like, we're not like supermodels by any stretch of the word, but when he's like, could I carry you on my shoulders? I remember I was drinking water and I spit it out and I started dying.
Well, he was trying to cheat the system. Like that's why he said in the reunion, is love blurry? Like, can I see a little bit of how you
call it? Love is blurry.
Like, I want to see a little bit of how your figure is, but Love Is Blind. You can't get any hints. And he was trying to cheat the system.
By the way, I read an article that it is true. He hit on Nick Lachey's wife 3 times during the show, and that at one point Nick Lachey said something to him. That's what Deed said.
What?
in an
Well, he did
interview.
say like, oh, he did say all these girls are ugly besides her.
Yeah. So he really did like come out and say, but
You know what
Dean
I'm
was,
wondering? I know I don't want to spend too much time on Shake, but I wonder if he's a veterinarian. I wonder if his business, his vet,
it had
you
to have
know,
boomed.
increase or decrease
I
because
think it
because
boomed.
he's a douchebag.
I think it boomed. I think people like that. I think people are all about that. They like the heel persona. Like, think about it. CM Punk, how many years hasn't he been loved? And it's because he's a heel. People love the heel. Stone Cold Steve Austin, heel. But he was just at the reunion. Like, this is the funniest part about the whole thing. Everybody hated him. Like, everybody was looking at him dirty. Everybody was like pissed off at him. And I just couldn't believe that everybody in the room hated him that bad. But then when they started talking about, oh, well, he was saying stuff behind my back, that he was saying stuff to the producers also, like, ugh, I don't know if I like her, this, that. I'm like, damn, even to the producers, like, dude, you're an ass.
It made me like we watched the whole season. And the thing I remember the most is a reunion because of Shake. So, he was a good character. He was interesting. He was telling everybody that he can't, marry his aunt, and I'm sure
Your aunt is probably really cool. Yeah, she's dope as F.
but not to marry. And the crazy part, I knew it too when I watched the finale of like where Deepti or Deeps said, "No, I can't marry you," and she like,
I was surprised.
me too. I thought she was a sucker. She was falling for it.
Yeah.
But then they said at the reunion that everybody told her, even the boys ratted out a Shake. Like, you don't do this. You deserve better. That's kind of nice to see, I guess.
That was cool. No, that was a cool moment because obviously, that like I guess you kind of build a brotherhood or a sisterhood with the people on the show in a sense. Obviously, Natalie and what's it, Shayna, whatever. They're not gonna be friends, but
I was gonna say I was gonna be. We can't spend all day talking about this.
No, I know.
I wanted to say that was Manet's transition.
That was the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah, who was the happiest person about having Shake take the spotlight? It was definitely Shane. Because he definitely hooked up with Shayna after the show, and he was like all like squirmish. I don't want to talk about this. Sorry, Natalie.
Hey, did you think he was kind of weird? Like, I thought the last 2 episodes he was very strange.
Yeah, because he knows what he did.
But I thought he was on something because he's like,
maybe.
He started doing all these like weird like movements, and he was doing all kinds of weird
stuff.
He's
just a twitchy guy. Like, he reminds me of Biff from Back in the Future. I don't know, but he must be the happiest guy. But he was so yeah. He was definitely the guy thinking that Shake was talking so much, because when they asked him questions, he was like, I don't want to talk about it.
It was bad. Like, you could tell that one surprised me just because I didn't think I thought Natalie was all for him, but then when they said, oh, they got into that huge fight, I was like, oh, but then I thought it would be enough to overcome. That one was pretty interesting. I got another one for you. Deeps. Did you see when the dude was like, I should have asked Deeps to marry me?
Yeah, because aren't her and the other guy Kyle, who the reject of Shayna, are together?
Yeah,
now?
they've been spotted eating together at places or whatever. So.
Look at us, we sound terrible. We know the whole freaking.
I know.
Gossip.
I know. I look. I'm curious. Together. I look up stuff after like shows and stuff just to see what they're saying about it. But that one was pretty interesting. The other ones, I mean, I couldn't stand Nick, and I couldn't stand Danielle, and he ends up marrying her. Danielle to me was nauseating. Like, she brought up any opportunity. Huh?
Yeah, but I couldn't stand either one of them. None of them, because
no, I couldn't stand
the
either
other guy.
One.
Definitely had anger problems. He had no patience, and then the guy Nick.
Oh yeah.
He was quick, and I get it, but also the other one was a little.
The funniest part is when they go to her apartment, and he's like, this is very messy, and like you could see him twitch and getting all nervous about how
and then he's like, you're gonna keep your drum set, and then they show the drum set. It's like Guitar Hero drum set.
Oh my god, I just couldn't stand her because she kept on like making all these excuses, and like they would talk about he would say one thing, well, what, you don't want me to hang out with my friends? It's like, he never said that. Like, all he said is like, it's not going to be a regular thing, is it?
They were eating cake, and they still got mad. It was weird.
Oh my god, how can you get mad eating cake, Gilbert?
I don't know. But did you notice though? Did you notice at the reunion they were the happiest couple?
They really were. Oh, and so was my what's their names? God, I can't remember the other couple that made it.
There's another couple. Oh, talking about. Uh, forgot
Mallory
that.
called him Jared.
There you go. Yeah, that was actually kind of
I
interesting.
can't remember
Yeah,
his name.
Jared.
Jared. He was cool. Him and they had a cool man. That conversation that they had though at the on the beach, like that was crazy. That was
Definitely. He was saying,
by the
I
way,
would
I couldn't stand Mallory's husband or fiance. He was annoying.
a little bit, but I was surprised that he had another girl too. So back home. So
That was
Sal.
weird.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
Sal. That was really weird. She just
And
showed up randomly, right?
yeah, you know what is the funniest moments, and we should end with this, Fernando. We're going off
Yeah.
topic.
We're
We were like,
talking too much.
what is this? This is not a sports show. Whatever. Anyways, we are compas. We're random. But one of the funniest moments was like, remember when they went to the Wrigley Field where the Cubs play
Yeah.
baseball, and they're all hitting like these singles and home runs, and even Sal, who was wearing slacks and dress shoes, is kind of hitting the ball, and then Shane, this buff guy who has experience playing baseball, struck out, and
Struck out.
he got so mad. He's like, "Oh, even Sal wearing slacks over there was hitting it. I can't believe it."
I was dying of laughter. Yeah, that stuff that was pretty funny. But yeah, overall, what'd you give it? To me, your avocado rating.
I liked it. That's why I'm talking about it. So I'm a avocado rating. It's a fresh avocado, even though, as you know, I hate avocados. I'll give it a nice 89, close to 90%, but it's nice.
I'll give it a just because of the drama. I thought it was really good. I'll give it an 83. I actually like the first season better. I thought there was more. I thought in the first season there was more chemistry between the couples. I thought this year the chemistry wasn't there. It was really weird. But I still remember when Shake tells that girl, he's like, "I like women that go to the gym," and she's like, obviously a little bit heavier. And I'm like, dude, you're such a douche. Like, what are you doing? Oh my god! But
if Love Is Blind ever comes out to San Diego or even Indiana, Fernando, you gotta
San Diego.
you gotta sign up your brother. Yes.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. Yeah, he'd be like, Madam, please don't yell at me. I'm relaxed. I'd really like to see my brother on the show.
I will definitely. I'm all for that. We need to start a campaign.
The ratings would probably skyrocket if Dan was
Put
on.
Dan and Diego on Love Is Blind, and then we'll kind of appear in the episode when he's about to get married, and we kind of give him a pep talk.
Exactly. You know what's funny? I feel like Jeff would watch it, Pop would watch it, like Joe Reedy. A lot of people would watch it just because it's my brother, and they want to see what he has to say. And
think about the publicity we will have for Compas on the Beat.
Exactly. Amazing. There you go. It'd be a good one. But yeah, another great episode, Gilbert. This was obviously we got to break down some free agency stuff. We're gonna get some more stuff coming up soon. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Definitely another good week, Gilbert. I know you had to pull double duty. You were out in Vegas covering basketball, and then you had to come back and cover free agency. So we got to obviously give it up to you. And obviously you had the energy to do Compas. So are you going to take a break pretty soon, or what's on your docket?
I hope so, but I got to wait to see if the Chargers when do they introduce the new players? Oh, yeah. I hear the rumor is going to be somebody's going to be introduced on Wednesday. That's one. But then what about the other players? So I think once we get those out the way, the introductions, the signings, I'm taking off for a week or two. That's for sure.
You're going to need to do something before the draft too.
Yep. So maybe first week of April. We'll see.
There you go. April Fools. No vacation for you.
No. There was something that happened recently that reminded me of April Fools, but I forgot what it was. But anyways.
All right. Well, obviously on that note, we're gonna head out. Don't forget, follow him on Twitter at gmanzano24 for all your Charger stuff. If you guys want to check out what I'm doing, I'm gonna be doing some more stuff this week. I'm probably gonna do a couple of things that I saw from my first practice on Thursday, and then Saturday. Saturday or Sunday, I should be doing a story on the two quarterbacks that are competing for Notre Dame, so that should be pretty good. But for the time being, thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We're excited about what the direction that Compas is heading in. We have some great stuff planned. You guys wanted us back. We're back. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. But for the time being, Gilbert, sabes que vámonos.
Thanks, Fernando, the Notre Dame insider. But on that note, ya nos vamos, pues vámonos.